Welcome to Let Freedom Ring. Before we get into anything, we just want to dedicate this show to the memory of Dick Gagnon. He ran the Nashua studio for many, many years. Leo Connor's show and many others. Dick was a great guy. I got to say, when I first started doing shows like this, it was on Leo's show, and Dick was always the guy recording. So our thoughts and prayers are with his family. We love you, and God bless you. I also want to give a shout out to my niece, Kiara Bollier, who was born on May 30th, same day as my mom, same birthday. So there's Kiara there. Hopefully we can get her on screen. Uncle Dan loves you forever. So glad you're with us now. But we got security here. We're keeping out whoever made the attack on the 2-year anniversary. But we really got to talk about it because who do we have in studio here? The one man that attacked me on this set, Sopee Preap. Sopee, how are you?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
The last time I saw you, I took a tumble off this stage.
Yeah, you hit the floor face first, just as I intended.
Yeah, no, it was a good shot. I was out of work for a couple days after that, but I got to ask you this. Why'd you do it again? Why on the 2-year anniversary would you attack me again? You made your point. You made your statement. Why did it happen again?
You know that wasn't me on the 2-year anniversary.
It had, like, who else? We've had security in this studio for over a year. Mm-hmm. It had to have been you. How'd you get past security? I just don't understand how this happened.
You think that I would have the level of like planning and creativity to get by the various levels of security here and do that again? You think that I'd be the type of person that would want to attack you on multiple occasions?
In my mind, that's the only thing that I can think that could have happened. Nothing else makes sense. We've been working with Justin and Colin trying to figure out who did this. What gives you the right to do something like that?
I swear to God, no matter how convinced you are, it wasn't me. And if we need to, get a formal statement authorized by the legal authorities attesting that it wasn't me, I can certainly do that for you.
Okay, well, I do want this in writing. Justin, can we get the legal team on this? Because I'm still not convinced. I'm pretty sure it was Sopee. But that's not what we're here to do today. We want to chat. We want to know what's going on with you because you've interviewed a ton of big stars in the sports world. But have you been since your last episode?
I've been good. It's been a while. We've been on I wouldn't call it a hiatus, Dan and I. Shout out to Dan Morse, my co-host. We've thought that 160 episodes was sufficient. No, it was more so just like scheduling. It's tough with people, he's got a family. We both got jobs that are kind of time consuming. So it's just kind of tough to coordinate, even if it is, only once or twice a week when you have a routine of things that you need to do after work, between cooking, cleaning, going to the gym, all that good stuff. And like I said, he's got a kid. So it's just kind of tough to maintain that. So it was fun. But for now, I'm on a break. I'm kind of thinking over ideas of what I want to do if I want to do something like that again. But for now, I just went back to listening to podcasts instead of hosting one.
Now, what was like, and I know we talked about this before, but you were the one really booking the guests. What was kind of your formula? Because you weren't just getting, anybody. You were getting people on, network television. Mm-hmm. What goes into doing that?
I think like having a background in sales and like Dan helped too. But having a background in sales, I was used to reaching out to people and knowing that the answer is probably going to be no. And I kind of like writing emails where it's like anytime that I have to build a case for myself for something, I weirdly enjoy that. So I just was pretty persistent with looking for contact information for the people that I wanted to talk to. And then if someone ever did respond and did come on the show, use them as a reference and say, hey, here, I know that you know this person.
Okay.
You think you'd be able to help us get in touch with them too? So it's pretty fun doing that. Like, honestly, that part was just as fun as doing the actual show, because I always got a thrill out of, wow, I can't believe this person responded to me, or I can't believe, even if they, didn't come on, it's cool that, we got Schefter responded to me a couple times, and I was like,
Adam
wow.
Schefter?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it was, an hour or two after I wrote the email, so it was pretty funny to be like, somewhere in the world right now, Adam Schefter on his two phones, one is looking at like NFL news and trade updates, and on the other one was reading an email from me and responding. So it's kind of cool. So that was the thrill of it, and yeah, I just really enjoyed that aspect.
Were you close to getting him? Because I mean, that guy is crazy busy.
Yeah, I don't think that we were. He just said basically, yeah, he always had something going on. His schedule isn't even, not that it's a surprise, but his schedule was always handled by like someone else at ESPN.
Okay.
So I would have had to go through another person to even like get on his calendar. So yeah, I don't think it was particularly close, but it was still cool that he got it, he read it, and he, sent a few sentences back, but yeah.
Now you say emails, like how do you get the emails of some of these guests? Or is this, because I know with social media, it's like, I direct message you to be on the show today. Mm-hmm. How do you get the emails of some of these people?
So that's one way is if I wouldn't email them, if they did have their direct message open on Twitter.
Okay.
So you can't direct message everyone on Twitter. It's only people who have that functionality, like, okay, I'm going to allow anyone off the internet to send me a private message. So some people had that. Some people have their email addresses listed in whatever social media bio they have on their page. And then some people, like the guys from 98.5 The Sports Hub, it's public information. If you go onto the Sports Hub website, you can find all their email addresses.
Okay.
How often they check and whether or not they check is another thing, because it's like, those guys probably have multiple emails that they actually look at. And who knows if messages even get through like the spam filter. So yeah, it was tough, but that was part of the intrigue. Like, all right, I'm hit send. Let's see how long it is before someone responds, if they do.
Yeah, no, it's impressive. You were really good about booking guests. I'm very impressed by that. Was there anybody that was just like rude or like, you don't have to give names, but like just not so nice or anything?
That's a good question. Yeah, there was one person. I'll say the name because I don't even think she's that famous, but she works for the NFL Network, but she covers the Cowboys, and her name is Jane Slater. I always just thought that she was entertaining and was good at what she did. I wouldn't say that she was rude, but she was just like pretty short with the email. So it is what it is. Like, she's busy. She covers the Cowboys, one of the biggest teams in the league. But considering like the emails that I got from the people that did respond, hers was by far the shortest and most like blunt. It was just like, yeah, I appreciate the offer, but I don't have any time to do this or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see where, I could see that not having the time, but someone's reaching out to you, and whatnot. So, what was your favorite episode that you guys did? Because you had a lot of good ones. I gotta say, the Felger one was great, and I think he already knew who you were because you've got through to the Sports Hub quite a bit.
Yeah, I've called them a few times. I've called them a few times since then, and I don't know if they like me more or less now that they've like actually had a real conversation with me.
Yeah.
Because a couple times I usually call to troll them.
Yeah.
In good fun. I don't I don't dislike them personally or anything like that, but I usually just call in and make stupid jokes. But Felger was probably one of my favorites because that was like he was the first, Felger and Maz were the first radio show that I started listening to, 7 or 8 years ago. And obviously, us being in New England, pretty much everyone knows who they are or has heard the names and been like, oh, those guys are from like TV and radio. So that was cool. And it was pretty cool the fact that he gave us a full hour And we could have gone longer if we wanted to. And he gave me, he exchanged his contact information and gave me his cell phone number that day.
Wow.
Before that, like a couple weeks leading up to it. And it was just like, you can text me on this number. I'm guessing he has 2 phones.
Yeah.
But either way, I have his number for like his secondary, whatever.
No, that's super cool.
Maz was also, so Felger, I really enjoyed talking to because I wanted a chance to like ask the questions that I would want to ask them while they're doing their show, and also mix in some jokes and just see like his lighter side. Maz, who's been with us twice and has communicated through email a few times, both of them were really nice. Maz is like a super nice guy, which I don't know if that necessarily comes across on TV. I think he's just like a smart ass who laughs and like takes part in the agitation of the fans and the listeners. But he's actually a super cool guy, especially when you're not recording and when you're not on his show and he's just being himself. Yeah, he's really laid back, down to earth, and helped us get. I don't know if you are familiar with Jared Carabas.
At Barstool?
Yeah, he was at Barstool for a long time, and he was their Red Sox and baseball guy. And Maz does a show with him on 98.5 sometimes, and he helped us get in touch with him. So yeah, those guys are all like good people.
No, nice. And did you ever have any shows now? We've probably had some here on Let Freedom Reign that just went totally off the rails and just, you were like, what do I do here?
Yeah, there was one guy that we had from, this is in the first probably 6 months of the show. There was a guy who worked out of Providence, and I'd seen him on TV like over the years, and I thought that he was cool enough. He was around our age range. And we had him on, and he covers the Patriots for the Providence Journal. And every answer that he was giving us was the most short, blunt, not giving us anything to work with. I couldn't tell if he was understanding our humor. I couldn't tell like okay, like if you didn't want to give us answers, why did you even agree to come on the show in the first place?
Yeah.
And by the end of it, Dan and I were both like, I don't even know if we're going to use this. So we didn't because it was just so painfully awkward. And now that I think about it, I kind of want to go back and listen. But yeah, this guy was just like, I don't get how this guy got to his job and his position having as little personality as he did.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing as a host is when they don't give it to you. Like, and I know Leo has had the same issues where he's had a guest and it was like one-word answers. And it's like, there's not much you can do at that point.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Reminds me of like again, being in sales, if you're trying to talk to a customer and you're trying to get them to tell you stuff so that you can like make a recommendation or a suggestion or something, but they just don't give you anything to work with. Same thing. It's tough. It's just like a brick wall.
Who was, now did you make any, because I know we're going to talk about it. Sometimes you make jokes that may go a little, off the rails. Was there anything in that episode that you said they were like, he's not getting this at all?
No, it was nothing like that. I always kept it pretty clean with the actual guests, unless they were someone that we were like really familiar with. But no, he just wasn't responding well to even like pleasantries of, hey, how you doing? He would just be like, good.
Yeah,
like, all right,
what do you do?
All right, cool. Next question.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask this, because I didn't know who Joy Taylor was before you guys interviewed her. Now I'm in love with her. Joy, I'm single. If you're out there, just know that. But what was it like interviewing Joy Taylor?
That was a lot of fun, too. That was a person that, if anyone's not familiar, she's on daily with Colin Cowherd on Fox Sports on his radio show. But that was a lot of fun because I really wasn't expecting her to respond to the email. And that was another one where it was just like a pretty quick turnaround. I think I emailed her and she responded the next day. And it was just like, hey, I'd love to do the show. Let me know like what times you guys tend to do this. And she was cool. We talked some sports. She's from Miami. She's from Pittsburgh, but she's lived and spent a lot of time in both Miami and LA. So she has an interesting like perspective outside of the New England area. sports-wise. And she was just like really cool, down to earth. We talked about some like dating stuff. Yeah, she's just like really funny, and obviously she's pretty popular on social media, on TV, and yeah, she was really cool.
Yeah, no, that was a good one. I was like, I don't even know who that is, and then now I do. It's funny. Her social media is interesting because like she made a post where she showed all the tweets of people just crapping on her, and I'm like, that is what Twitter is.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't see a lot of positive stuff on there.
No, it's you have to just like tune out all the negativity, and I'm just there for the jokes.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of really funny people on Twitter, just random no-name people. But there's a lot of funny humor on Twitter. But yeah, and then if you're famous, especially if you're a woman, you probably deal with a lot of harassment on there, which is unfortunate. But yeah, especially her, it's like, I don't get why.
She's gorgeous. What are people talking about? You know.
Yeah, she gets shamed for pretty much everything that she says, does, posts, whatever. It's crazy.
Yeah, I just don't use Twitter, but I know that you use Twitter a lot to get guests, which is, I just can't be on there because I know Facebook can be toxic, but Twitter's like, it's so bad. Like,
yeah, Twitter, there's really no filter, and because people, you might have a few thousand followers or whatever, but it's not like you're actually friendly in real life with a bigger portion of your friends on Facebook than you are your followers on Twitter. So I feel like with that anonymity, people are a little more encouraged to say whatever they want.
Yeah.
But yeah, plus people just weigh in on everything. People are making actually anonymous accounts to say crazy stuff. Yeah, I just try to ignore that and just focus on the jokes. But man, I could read Twitter all day because it's pretty funny and it's nonstop. There's always a new news story. There's always a new sports story. There's always someone being an idiot. And sometimes there's like celebrities getting into court cases and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's just so much like, and a lot of these fake, like not fake accounts, but when you're not using a real name. Like a lot of times, even on Facebook, like if I comment on something and someone comments back and it's like they're not willing to have their actual photo on their page, I go, I'm not engaging with that person because obviously they're hiding who they are and they're just out there to troll people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's there's a lot of that on Twitter. There's a lot of bots.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty annoying aspect. Like these bots that are just programmed to like send the conversation in one way or the other, especially when it comes to actual social stuff like politics and whatever news of the day. And then there's just there's a lot of negativity. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah, there's that. And the political aspect, you couldn't be more right on that. Like it's ridiculous.
I've had to. What I do is you can mute words.
Yeah.
So I go in there and I've muted a bunch of basically any controversial type of words that are related to news stories so that I don't see those tweets, which is pretty nice.
I might have to do that. I've been off. I have Twitter. I use it more for just wrestling purposes.
Yeah.
And literally my Twitter's recreate wrestling that I made in 2012, and I don't really use it until I'm like, oh, something really cool happened in wrestling. I'm going to get on there and retweet everything, So... we had a fan question, and this one kind of, it didn't quite hurt my feelings, but kind of bothered me a little bit because it's Pride Month.
Yeah.
We've shared on the show that Let Freedom Ring is for everybody. There's no guests that we're not going to have on. That's not how we work here. Mm-hmm. But someone said, Christina Marie, she said, how come you only have dudes on your show? And I just want to address that because... I've had female guests on the show. They're harder to book than guys, and I don't know what it is. Like I've tried, and I appreciate that Lori and Linda and other guests that I've invited on the show that declined. It's not a lack of trying.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know why it's harder to book female guests. For me, did you have any issues like that? Like, obviously, Joy Taylor on, we just talked about that, but like, I don't know why that's more difficult. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, every experience is different. It sounds like, yeah, just not that in general, that's the rule, but in your experience, that's what you found to be true. I don't think we really had too much of that. We had her, we had Diana Rossini. Trying to think of who else. Pretty much, I always just went after people that I follow and listen to. So, of the people that I follow and listen to, I think that, we got whoever. It wasn't any harder to reach out to them or get in conversation with them.
Yeah, and again, I've had women guests on the show.
Yeah.
I've had plenty, but it's not, I don't know why it's been harder for me to get that. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because people are afraid of public access or what it is, but I just saw that comment, and I invited her on the show. Now, she did say yes. Now she's declined. She said, I got some stuff going on that I can't do the show.
When did you invite her?
Right after the comment.
Oh, okay.
I said, all right, well, if you're going to make that comment, come on the show.
And she's already said yes, but now
it's for reasons that I'm not going to get into. But it's kind of like, now you know my struggle to get that. Like, literally, you said yes yesterday. Now you're saying no today. Like, it is not, again, and I wrote this on Facebook, it's not a lack of trying.
Yeah.
So... Yes, yeah. I was very frustrated by that.
I was surprised when I saw that comment too, and I agree. I don't think it's for lack of effort.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, but and I'm guilty. I take a lot of things to heart, but when this show started, we want everybody on this show. It doesn't matter who you are. Well, within reason, obviously. I wouldn't want Donald Trump on my show, but but. You get the point.
Right.
So, yes, we are trying to get anybody on this show that we can get. So just know, doesn't matter your gender, we want you in that seat. But I want to talk about
even if you don't have a gender.
Or even, yeah, you're right.
Gender free.
Now we're going to worry when we say the wrong thing there. But again, Let Freedom Ring is for everybody.
Yeah.
Current events. Johnny Depp won his court case, defamation case. Did you see any of that? Were you paying attention to any of that stuff?
Very minimally. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts. I have a minor thought.
I will be honest, and I'm saying this on the show. I've had, because I want to ask this question too. Because a lot of times our society, and we think women can't be abusive too. And that's what we're kind of taught. I have been in an abusive relationship that made me very unhappy and kind of realized at one point what I was in. And I kind of felt, I was like, I get what Johnny Depp was going through. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, you can be an abuser.
Or neither.
Or neither, yeah. but yeah. Any thoughts on that? Like, do you think that women can also be abusive?
Yeah, it's obviously possible for both genders. I think I saw something that I thought captured the whole thing pretty well, which was that it's possible that both sides are maybe not bad people, but both sides made some bad choices and bad mistakes, and we can dislike both people, and basically both people are wrong. The only thing is that I think sometimes a case like this will be used to be like, it just felt like they were framing it as not that Johnny's reputation and actions were wrongly accused, but rather that he won a case about who was right and who was wrong in their relationship. And really, it wasn't that. It was he was basically suing her right for saying things that he didn't appreciate about him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like a tough place to be because I think both people are clearly in the wrong and did some crazy stuff to each other, and were both probably abusive. But it shouldn't be looked at as like a feather in the cap of people being like, all right, now this is why women shouldn't always be believed in a case of
and I don't believe that,
like that
either.
No, I know. And I
know.
think some other people could take it that way, especially, okay, on Twitter is what I'm thinking of, is like a lot of the keyboard warriors on there that have like, you know, incel behavior type thing. They will be the ones that will be like, finally, someone's speaking up for us, which is like, you know, like shut these women up. They're not always right. That's like the dangerous potential.
Well, because everybody takes their own personal experience, and they're like, well, I was treated wrong, so now that must be everything. And that's not true. There's abusive men, there's abusive women, there's abusive, you know, whatever. So, yeah, I agree. They both kind of probably had a little bit in it, but it seemed like she was doing a lot worse and then kind of, you know, smeared his name.
Yeah.
Do you think his celebrity, though, helped him in the trial? Because obviously, let's be honest, who doesn't know who Johnny Depp is?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I had never heard of Amber.
Yeah. I never heard, either.
I had never heard of her name until this case, whereas obviously, yeah, he's one of the biggest stars in the world. So, yeah, I just hope that it doesn't lead to people being afraid to speak out for like people who have legitimately been abused. You know, because again, the case was about defamation and defaming and making someone sound worse than they are and being accused of things that they didn't do. Like, he didn't necessarily win a case of who was right and wrong in their relationship. It was just he didn't like what was being said about him. And hopefully that doesn't keep like women who have been abused from speaking up in the future, because non-celebrities, like, that type of stuff happens all the time. And I think sometimes people are discouraged from like talking about that stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it just feels like it has to go both ways.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's fair.
It just does. I want to talk about the Boston Celtics. I know you're a big Celtics fan. Mm-hmm. Can you believe that they're in the finals? And I think that starts tonight at 9.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't believe that they're in the finals because I was just talking to a friend of mine earlier today about how the last text message that this friend and I had exchanged was back in January, and it was about how bad the Celtics were at that point. We were both saying, like, we don't want to watch the NBA anymore because these guys are, like, this team is terrible. But yeah, it's got to be, like, the biggest in-season change, and I know that Dan Morse agrees with this, biggest in-season turnaround that I've seen from any team in really any sport. Because not only were they below 500, like halfway through the season, they looked like they were about to be like a lottery team.
Yeah.
And now they're in the finals. They looked like they didn't care at all in January. And now they're 4 wins from a title.
Well, they wanted to break everybody up, and it was like, I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, that was one of the stupid things you were hearing on like talk radio, on Felger and Maz, on all those shows. They were saying break up the stars. I did get to a point where I was close to agreeing, where I was like, this just doesn't look like it's going to work. But, yeah, we were wrong. And it's crazy because, like, even now that they've made the finals, you don't listen to Felger and Maz anymore, do you?
I stopped with the Sports Hub almost 10 years ago. There was just too much on there. Yeah. Sometimes I'll hit it up, like, if I want to hear something, but, like, if I did want to hear a perspective on Mac Jones at times, so I'd put it on, but for the most part, I don't listen to it much.
You know what you're going to get before you even turn them on. So, yeah, it's just funny. Dan Morse, again, and I were talking about how this week on Felger and Maz, you wouldn't even know that the Celtics made the finals because they're, like, dissecting them. They keep talking about Marcus Smart and how bad he was in the final game of their last series, and it's like, dude, we didn't even expect to be here. Like, relax. Let's talk about the fact that they're on the brink, possibly, of winning a title.
Well, that's what they do.
Yeah.
That's why it's hard to listen to. It's like, wait a second. They're in the finals. There's a lot of teams that are not in the finals. There's only 2 teams that get there. Like, they're just overanalyzed sometimes.
I've been very tempted lately. I really want to call in and just be like an absolute jackass, but I also don't want to burn bridges. Although I don't know, like, would they take it seriously enough that they're like, all right, screw this guy. Like, if he's going to do this, call into our show and call us a bunch of idiots, like, we're not going to help him out afterwards. Because they know that they're being characters. Like,
yeah.
They're all playing characters, realistically. But yeah, I've been tempted because I'm just like, guys, come on. Like, before you know it, they're going to win the title. And this whole time, you've just been talking about what happened in, like, the first quarter of freaking Game 4 2 series ago.
I mean, they've been improving every... What did they finish last year? Because I know they're in the Eastern Conference Finals the year before, in the bubble.
Yeah, so they're in the Eastern Conference Finals in the bubble, but it was kind of a disappointment that they lost and didn't get to the finals that year. Like, once they got to that round against Miami, most people, including myself, I definitely thought they were headed to the finals.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a letdown. But then last year, the year after the bubble, they had a pretty bad season. They ended up making the playoffs through the play-in game. So they ended up being the 7th seed, I think. And then they lost in a gentleman's sweep to the Nets.
Okay. Oh, yes, yeah. And I remember Kyrie was being Kyrie.
Yeah.
Which is so much sweeter now that, you know, we're not going to... You know what? We don't talk about Kyrie on this show. We don't like to talk about him. But it's
it also
not,
feels like forever ago, that series now.
It really does.
Even though, I mean, it was...
Because he did the little... He did the foot stomp thing on the logo.
Yeah.
And said everybody in Boston's a racist. And, you know, that's just his MO.
Yeah.
But it's so nice right now that it's like the Nets were supposed to be that team, and they're golfing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they got swept. I actually do still like KD.
Oh, of course. He's one of the greatest players I've ever seen play.
I love his game.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty funny on Twitter because he'll just go at people. Just go at random-ass people that have tweeted him or he thinks insulted him. It's pretty funny. But, yeah, even this year's series where they got swept feels like forever ago. Now that it's been, you know, that was 3 series ago.
COVID times, everything just seems so distant.
Yeah.
I want to get some top fives here.
Okay.
I get some real good ones for you here. Who are your top 5 favorite guests on the Morse Code podcast? I'm
going to count Felger and Maz as just one. Jared Carabas, that was one that was a long time in the making, and he's just like a super... He's got to be one of the biggest names baseball-wise on Twitter. I know he's around like 400,000 followers. And he's just one of the few young guys who also is like a fan. So he's not a reporter necessarily. But anyways, it was fun to talk to him because he's such a big voice in Boston as far as baseball. Jared Carabas, Joy Taylor for sure. Trill Withers. He's another guy who used to work at Barstool, and he was the first podcast that I regularly listened to. Super funny guy, hilarious on Twitter, very successful, and has like a different show, even though he's not on Barstool now. That's 4. And then the Bollier Brothers, number 5.
Oh, all right.
Number 5, yeah, the Bollier Brothers as a trio. Specifically, that first instance, the infamous one.
Oh, we're going to get to that. We are going to get to that because we got to clarify this today.
Yeah.
Just because it's only a few days past the anniversary of that happening. So, we did have fun on it. We did until, you know, an unfortunate thing was said. But
we had fun for the first like 95% of the recording.
And then the feud that started it all started. But what are your top 5 favorite podcasts?
Let's see. Mixtape is one that was Trill Withers, the guy that I just mentioned. Man, I don't know if I have 5. He has a new show now, so that's 2. The Jared Carabas podcast, 3. The Art of Bore, which is another guy that we've had on the show who's really funny on Twitter. That's 4. I think those are the only 4 that I listen to.
Okay.
I'm going to have to keep it at 4.
Do you primarily just want to listen to sports podcasts, or?
For the most part, yeah, I don't listen to like any entertainment ones about movies or TV or news. I did listen to like a couple true crime ones.
Okay.
Over the years, I've listened to a few. Those are pretty interesting, but there's none that I listen to regularly that aren't sports.
I love the true crime stuff.
Yeah.
Are you up to date on the Maura Murray stuff? Familiar
I'm not.
with that?
I've only watched. I remember when they had a series on Oxygen.
Yeah.
Did you watch that one?
Oh yeah, I've been obsessed with this case since I found out about it. So.
Didn't you feel like that series though felt like kind of over dramatized a little bit?
Well, I do feel the guy that's done the blog is a little bit off base at times. James Retner, is that no, or is that the actor? I don't know. I think that's his name, but because he believes that she's in Canada, and anything that documentary proved that she's probably not. So.
You don't think she's sipping on maple syrup?
I don't know, but the whole case just it really makes you like, what happened to her?
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of time, but in my opinion, it was kind of like the bus driver just was like, oh yeah, he probably didn't do it. And it's like, well, he's the one that called and said he found her, and no one's seen her again. So.
Yeah, most of the time it's the last person who saw them.
Yeah, like
most of the time.
It's kind of crazy. So we would never really know what time she actually crashed that car. That's something I've always kind of thought about.
Yeah.
Though they try to go off of when they saw her on the security camera taking out money or whatever, but that case, that's always going to be one that, until it's figured out, man, your mind goes in all these places about it. So. I want to ask this as a big question, because we're going to get to a very serious question after that. What are your top 5 90s wrestlers?
Rock was late 90s, but still 90s.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
Rock's 90s, without a question. He debuted in 96. That's like, mid 90s.
As Rocky Maivia.
Rocky Maivia, yeah.
I remember it was he wore black and blue at first.
Yeah,
or it might have been just blue.
It was blue and like white. He had white boots.
Yeah,
very
okay.
baby face,
He had the longer hair back then.
Yeah.
Okay, Rock. Bret Hart is my favorite. Undertaker. Who else? I can't just name big names. I'm going to say Goldust. And who else would be my 5th? Rikishi.
Okay, yeah, I think he debuted. Well, he was Fatu before that.
Yeah.
I will say Goldust, Dustin Reynolds, Dustin Rhodes, the Natural. Years ago, 9 years ago, I was him for Halloween.
Goldust.
I was Goldust for Halloween. You know how it is. I let people vote what wrestler I'm going to be for Halloween every year.
Yeah.
That's just a thing I do. And one of the first ever winners was Goldust. And man, did I put effort into this costume. Like, I'm not kidding. I went and got the paint. I went and bought the shirt and colored it. And
I've seen the pictures. It was really good.
I think it's the best Goldust costume of all time. But I'm biased. I tweeted it to him. And he blocked me. And I was just like,
That doesn't even make sense.
I don't get it, because 2 years later I'm Mick Foley, I'm Mankind. Because the next year I think I was John Cena, and I tweeted to him and he just ignored it. Next year I was Mankind. Sent it to Mick Foley. Mick Foley does a post with everybody that does his costume, and I was on his page. I was like, and I got to meet Mick Foley, so it was like great to be like, yeah, it was you for Halloween, and like you posted me on your Facebook, like It was unbelievable. But Goldust is like, no, you were me for Halloween, you're blocked.
Yeah, screw you.
So
Suck brick, kid.
he made a post on Facebook, right, recently, And I forget what it was. It was just about like his career and everything. I said, Dustin, I just want you to know, you blocked me on Twitter like 10 years ago. My costume was a tribute. It wasn't disrespectful. Like, I just want you to know I'm a big fan. Because I'm a big fan of the Rhodes family. When I met Cody Rhodes, I took a picture and said, Cody, can you pretend like you're about to punch me? I can't tell you why, but I'm going to do something on social media. He goes, oh, all right. So Cody Rhodes was like this. And so anyways, I sent that to Dustin. He liked it. He loved it, actually.
He gave you the heart.
Yeah, so
reaction?
I don't know if I think the beef is over. I was a huge fan of his father. I was a huge fan of him, his brother. I don't know.
Why would he think that he was making fun of you? And also, like I like wrestling too, but at the end of the day, it's like you guys are also in costume. How like out of touch are you that you think that me being in a costume mimicking you is somehow a mockery? It's like, clearly I like you.
Like, I killed this costume.
Yeah.
It's
a great picture.
It wasn't easy, you know? So I guess the beef is over. I'm still blocked. I don't think he knows what account to unblock, but Dustin, why? You know, we'll never know. But I am a huge fan of his.
Remind me, what was his finishing move called?
Shattered Dreams was one of them.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Where he put the guy's legs and then kicked them in the, you know.
Yeah.
But he had other moves too, but.
He also loves spitting water, right? Like in his entrance.
That's more Triple H. I'm trying to think of Goldust.
No, I think.
He did a lot of weird stuff.
I could have sworn that, like when it was dark, he would come out and it would be dark, and then as soon as they like cut the lights slowly on, I thought that he did something really weird.
No, he did the.
Like, oh, okay.
That's what he did. And he'd be
okay.
like, gold dust.
Yeah.
And he'd do the bite thing.
He was so weird. I love that guy. So weird.
It's kind of crazy that all happened because he was the natural Dustin Rhodes in WCW. He was very mirrored his father. And then Vince McMahon's just like, yeah, I got an idea. You're going to paint your face gold and you're going to... But it was a great character.
It was.
You know?
But how does that idea even like enter someone's brain?
I have no idea. I mean, Dusty Rhodes, his father, was the champion of NWA and everything, and he was like the big deal. He comes to WWE, and Vince McMahon goes, "We're gonna put you in polka dots. You're gonna wear polka dots now." And he was just like, "Why?" And he's like, "That's what you're gonna do."
This is his dad.
That's people believe that Vince has always had an issue with the Rhodes family. Now Cody's gone back there. He's left AEW. If you listen to the lyrics of Cody's song that he owns that they're using there, it's dogging on Vince McMahon just doubting the Rhodes family. Like, I'm like, did Vince listen to this? But Vince probably gets off on that, you know. So,
yeah.
But Cody is back there, and he's killing it. And I love the Rhodes family. Goldust. I don't know what that was about, but again, no disrespect. I don't know why I was blocked.
Time to bury the hatchet.
Well, we want to talk a little bit about disrespect here. Why do you hate Owen Hart?
I have no beef with Owen Hart anymore. We had a little falling out many, many years ago, and it took me a while to get over it. And when you and I had the conversation about him, the beef that Owen and I had was still fresh.
So raw, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, it was an itch that I had to scratch. But Owen and I are good now.
He passed away in '99, but yeah.
Yeah.
The whole feud started, just some things that were unfortunate that were said on the show. I apologize for dragging it out too long. I know you attacked me on this set. Mm-hmm. I did call you out, so I guess I had it coming.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you don't hate Owen Hart. They just had the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament. Good things happening there. But I do want to get into blank versus blank here.
Yeah, let's do it.
I give you two things. You pick one. Tell me why. 2010 Celtics, who did not win the championship, or this 2022 Celtics.
Man. I'm gonna say this team because this is a new generation of Celtics, and I saw that generation of Celtics win a title in '08. So yeah, I'm gonna take this team over 2010.
2010, that was heartbreaking.
That was one of the toughest losses I've ever watched in a sports game. That's up there with 18-1. Those two are the top two for me. The two worst losses I've watched.
Yeah, they weren't that far. Well, no, 18-1 was '08 that happened. But yeah, not too far apart. But I remember I was at Chunky's, like being like, Ray Allen, stop shooting threes. Like, it was horrible.
Yeah, dude, and also like back then, offense wasn't nearly as prolific as it is now in the NBA.
Yeah.
So I remember that final game ended something like 88-81, something like that. So it was like, not only did they lose the game, but it was just a defensive stalemate the whole time. And in the fourth quarter, I felt like the Celtics kind of got jobbed a little bit. And then Ron Artest, or Meta World Peace, hit the big three that like basically was the dagger. And Kobe shot 6 for 24, played terrible that whole series, but no one remembers that because they won.
Yeah. Yeah, that was not fun.
I really wanted the Celtics to beat the Lakers twice. Like, on Twitter, I hate Lakers fans, and unfortunately, I hate LeBron fans.
See, I'm not a Lake. I'll always root against the Lakers. I've always been a LeBron guy. Well, no, that's not true. When he went to the Heat, I was not a LeBron guy. But I will say, when Kobe Bryant died, that bothered me. Like, I had a Kobe sleeve because he's like a Derek Jeter where it's like, you hate him so much when you're playing against him, but it's like, damn it, I respect that guy. You know what I mean? So, hate losing to the Lakers, hate losing to the Yankees. Would you rather go to Duncan's or Starbucks?
Duncan's. I think, well, I'm just a donut guy as opposed to the, like all the non-donut things that Starbucks has food-wise, and I don't drink coffee.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not a coffee guy.
I love coffee. I don't drink it every day, but yeah. All right, we get two wrestlers that have kind of made some impact in Hollywood.
Okay.
Would you rather watch a movie with John Cena in it or Batista?
I'm going to go Cena because he is, number one, he is a New Englander, right? Mm-hmm. And he just looks like the next Boston actor. He kind of looks like some combination of like, I don't know, Mark Wahlberg and Matt Damon a little bit. And I think that he's more entertaining anyways. So Cena.
Did he say in a movie like, I look like Mark Wahlberg? I could eat Mark Wahlberg or something like that in the Amy Schumer movie?
Did he?
I don't know. Maybe it wasn't Mark Wahlberg, but somebody like...
I've seen that movie that you're talking about, Trainwreck. I don't remember if he said that, but he was really funny in that movie.
Yeah, he's done more of the comedy stuff than Batista has. Do you enjoy being a guest on a show or a host more?
Both are fun. I think I like being a host because I like just coming up with random questions, like weird questions.
I know. It's how we got here.
Yeah.
All right, here's a crazy one that probably takes us back to being kids. Would you rather drink Mountain Dew or Surge?
Only had Surge once or twice.
Okay.
And I know that Mountain Dew catches a lot of flack. I don't know if you're aware of this, but they catch a lot of flack for being like kind of a, I don't know. They're seen as like the lower class of the sodas.
Okay.
But I think it tastes delicious.
I love Mountain Dew.
And I know that supposedly it kills your swimmers, right?
Oh, is that true?
That's what they say.
How can that do something? Isn't it like any other soda?
Yeah, I don't know. It's got some, whatever makes it green kills the little guys.
If you're trying to have children, I guess don't drink Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Just in case. We're not saying that we're doctors or anything like that.
No.
I did see Surge in the store one day, and I hadn't seen it in years. I was at the Dollar Tree, and I was like, Surge? Yeah, I'm getting that. It was fantastic, you know.
That's their energy drink, right?
So I don't know if it's an energy drink. I think it just had more caffeine than your regular soda.
Oh, yeah. It was like a souped up Mountain Dew. And was it red?
No, it was green.
Oh, it was green too.
So when we were kids, that was just like what everybody's just like. You're thinking of Code Red Mountain Dew, I think.
Yeah.
But Surge was like, when I was in elementary school, it was like, I got a Surge. Like, it was like crazy. Like, you know. What town do you prefer? Or city and town? Nashua or Merrimack?
I think I like Nashua a little more. Probably because there's better options for food.
Okay.
Like restaurants.
Do you still live right next to King Cone?
Yeah.
You can't go wrong there. Well, you're in a good spot.
Yeah.
You go to King Cone, you could go to
Hayward's,
and why am I thinking? I can't think of the place I always go there.
Thirsty Moose.
Thirsty Moose.
Yeah. I haven't been there in a while. I was at Hayward's recently, and I think I may have switched up. I was previously King Cone.
Okay.
Hayward's, if you're listening and you want some sort of ad deal, just let me know.
I think Hayward's was too. It had Nashua place before the Merrimack one.
Yeah, there's one in South Nashua off Exit 4.
That's like the strip of like ice cream places, because if you keep going into Nashua, you're going to hit the big one. And King Cone is right there too. Like,
yep.
You know.
And then if you keep going, there's another one.
Across from Walgreens. Yeah. We got a lot of ice cream places in the area. That's for sure. Who would you rather have as a quarterback? Now, this is kind of a weird one, but Doug Flutie or Drew Bledsoe?
Doug Flutie. I hated watching Drew Bledsoe.
Okay.
I couldn't stand watching that guy. He was just like everyone calls him a statue in the pocket. I just remember thinking, why doesn't this guy get rid of the ball, and why does he keep getting sacked so much?
Now, do you remember a lot of it? Because I think you're a little younger than I am. Can I somewhat, like, obviously I remember Drew Bledsoe from, like, probably like 94, 96. At that point, you're probably what?
Yeah, I was, like, between the ages of 5 and 7 at that time. I don't remember early Drew Bledsoe. I remember the last maybe 2 to 3 years of him.
Okay.
And I feel like at that point he had gotten a little older. And I remember when he got drafted, it was mostly, the biggest thing with him was that he had a big arm.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was getting taken down like way too regularly. And I feel like Doug Flutie, scrappy little 5'10" guy, went to BC. Obviously had the the famous Hail Mary play. I don't remember if he's originally from New England.
Natick?
He is, okay.
I believe, yeah.
I think I would have rooted for the scrappy little guy.
Yeah, we all love Flutie, and I think it's Natick. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it was so cool when he did come to New England to finish out.
Yeah.
But I still believe the Bills stuck with him in the playoffs. They would have beat the Titans in '99.
Instead of, who did they go to? Rob Johnson?
Yeah, whoever they were paying. Yeah, Rob Johnson, I believe, because they were paying him. Flutie's like crazy too, because he still plays like baseball. And they said like he flew home from doing like, work for NBC to get home early to rake the field to play the baseball game the next day. Like,
wow.
He's just one of a kind. All right, last question, blank versus blank. Toughest one. You got to pick one, though. You got my brother Mike Bollier or Bobby Bollier.
Oh. Wow. I'm going to make one of them's going to be a closer friend, and now one of them's going to be an enemy. Man, just recency bias. I saw both of them probably 2 weeks ago. I had a great time with both of them. But I feel like Bobby and I's relationship took another step. I don't
really?
not intimately.
Oh yeah, okay, all right. He's married.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, but we chatted for a while, exchanged some jokes. We both laughed at each other's jokes, and yeah, I'm rolling with Bobby.
All right. Well, we got.
Sorry, Mike.
We got a lot going on in that group chat. It's been a little dead lately, but we'll have to get it going again.
We can revive it.
But Sopee, I really do have to ask, like, because this has been bothering me. Like, I'm glad we just had this episode. I'm glad that we've kind of rekindled our friendship. Just be honest with me. were you the one that attacked me on the 2-year anniversary? Because you did it once. Did it happen again? Just be honest with me. We can let bygones be bygones.
I don't know how many more times I can tell you. Like I said, I can get a written statement. I know that you are, a child of the 90s like I was. So, like a famous singer, Shaggy, once said, it wasn't me.
It was me.